that I don't have a state ID. You all should know that I don't have a driver's license. You all should know by now that my legal person, only have one of them right now, has a suspended driver's license. You should also know that I do not have any insurance. So the next day I'm driving around, I'm traveling around, excuse me, pardon my English. When I went to get the truck, I have a plate to put on. Well, I could have used my private plate, but I wouldn't even be thinking about it. But I had bought a new SUV, so her new plate came in. So she needed me to put her plate on, and the paper tag that the BMV gave her was still good. So what True Freeman herself did was said, "Can I use your plate?" It was the same day I went and got the truck, her plate came in. So she was like, "Yeah, I just need you to put my plate on for me." I was like, "All right, that's a good deal. That's a good barter." So I took the plate. My sister drove me down there. Yeah, she drives. She don't travel. She drove me down there to pick up the truck, and I put the paper plate on it. The paper tag, which through the BMV system is registered to a totally different vehicle. And he comes to the passenger window. It's only one officer at this time. He comes to the passenger window. I don't know what this computer is over here doing. Got to agree to stuff. But he comes to the passenger window, and excuse me, why am I talking like this? He comes to the guest window and says, "Yeah, this plate don't go to this vehicle, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's off my daughter's truck. She just bought her plate, came in, and I just bought this truck from Kentucky last night." I said, "And I used her plate to go get the truck." And he was like, "Oh, okay, all righty. It's the driver's license registration." I'm like, "Sir, I don't have a driver's license, nor am I required to have a driver's license." When he said driver's license and registration, I said, "I don't have a driver's license and I'm not required to have a driver's license." I said, "I'm an American national." I'm telling y'all exactly what I said. I said, I'm American national. And when I said that, I already figured that he was going to think the sovereign thing. I just didn't immediately say sovereign. There was no problem because when I handed him my ID says sovereign American national. Okay? That's the ID that the police had. First class, private, sovereign American national. If you got to arrest me, arrest me. I live to see another day. I done been to jail before. I done a little bit of time as a juvenile. As an adult, I was in and out, bond straight in and out. Child support, bam, purge bond. There you go. Driving while suspended, $500 bond. There you go. Criminal reckless, all right, $1,000 bond. There you go. All right, I'm out of there. I slept in my own bed, except for a couple of times when they got me on the weekend. He was kind of hesitant. And he was like, well, you free to go. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay. He was like, but let me ask you a question. He said, now we ain't even had a conversation. It was what I just told you. He said, why won't you just get your license, man? He said, I know you believe you don't have to have one. He said, but why you just won't get them? I said, I won't get them because I'm not required to have one. I'm not traveling. I'm not operating in commerce. I'm not transporting passenger cargo for profit. I'm traveling privately, which I got a right to do. That's the reason I don't. And I answered it. Well, what happened was one of the backup officers re-asked the question. He was like, "Well, why you just won't get a driver's license?" He said because he said, you know, and he hesitated, like he's like, you know, somebody may end up towing your car. And I'm just thinking to myself, nah, because I also put the tow companies on notice as well. So I didn't say that. I'm thinking this to myself. You know, I'm just listening to what he's saying. He's like, look, because, you know, somebody might, like saying some officer may at some point end up towing my vehicle. And I'm like, that I wasn't worried about, you know. So I'm like, I won't get. He said, and then he went into saying, because, you know, there's sovereigns out here saying that they don't have to, that they traveling and all that. I said, and that's what I'm doing. I said, I travel. I don't drive commercially. I said, I actually understand the law. I said, I actually study law. I said, I actually even got a YouTube channel. And then all three of them was like, oh, you got a YouTube channel? And like they act surprised. Okay? I knew they knew. And one of the backup officers said, I got a YouTube channel too. I said, you can check my YouTube channel out. Just look up True Freeman. I said, I expose good officers as well as I expose bad officers as well as good officers. And am supposed to be able to go to the incident reports and be able to pull that stop up. I cannot pull that stop up. It doesn't exist. No, me and my wife is connected, common law. They know the whole situation. Part of my fight involves both of us. They know exactly who they're dealing with. She's not once had to step foot in that court. Shit came up in her name about the house. I took care of that. I went and fought that fight in the court. Why? Because I knew I could. People say, well, you lost. If you think I lost, that property's nothing. I'm in my backup. Better. Don't worry about it. And I'm going to be compensated. He says, oh, hell, you didn't go to jail? No, I didn't go to jail. My car was not searched. My gun was not taken off of me and checked and confiscated. I was not written any tickets. My vehicle was not towed. My vehicle was not searched. I was not searched. My guest was not searched. They didn't ask to do any of that. It wasn't even a request. It didn't even come into the equation. And my other partners that I done dealt with and helped out here personally carried the same ID. My buddy that was indicted federally that you can find the news clips on had two forms of ID. He had another group's ID and he had the ID that I created. They indicted him on the other. Many people out here carrying that ID I created. It's a private ID. And it states facts. Okay? Let's just make that clear. And it's not lifting one's signature from one document to another. You want to check out some of those videos, just type in Google Indiana sovereign citizens, because that's the term they use. I know sovereign citizens is an oxymoron. Type in Indiana sovereign citizens and watch all those videos on the news about all those people. I know every single one of them. Why you won't find a news article out there with True Freeman? And a lot of them people you see, I helped. But by them taking this shit lightly, some of them, they went after him hard. Or, in most cases, it was the fact that they were doing things or acquiring things from other groups that put their freedom in jeopardy. I told them not to get that ID because I said, if that's a private ID, why is the Secretary of State's signature on it? And they were selling, this group was selling it. This group that we was involved in was selling them with badges and things like that. You want to check the videos? I'm not going to even go into that. Type in Indiana sovereign citizens. Just type in that and look for the news videos and clips. Every one of them people you see, I know them. Every one of them. Didn't like a couple of them. Tried to help a couple of them, but they just wouldn't listen. Oh, yeah, that was I ain't even going to say that group. Anyway. Oh, and it was a Caucasian group, too. But, hell, it's not about race. I just, want y'all to think I ain't taking jabs. That shit is a rap. How the hell didn't you go to jail, bro? You asked to call IMPD, Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. My name is Tyra Moore, TyraJemellEllemore. Call them and ask them why I ain't go to jail. Hell, I don't know. They didn't tell me.
Yo, Tyra, have you ever heard the story called The Little Boy That Cried Wolf? My dad would tell me that story at bedtime. I would ask if yours did, but your dad wasn't in your life. He didn't even sign the birth certificate, so that's evidence enough to prove he wasn't. So if you don't know it, I'll give you a brief overview. The story is about this little shit who kept lying about a wolf. And one day the wolf actually showed up and ate that little shit. And nobody gave two fucks about it. Well, Tyra, the wolf, aka the law, is going to eat your ass. And as we all heard, you have a criminal record and the state of Indiana says you're a 2-time felon. You know this. So here is my prediction. I would make a bet with you, but you wouldn't hold up your end of the bet. But anyway, I predict you will take a plea bargain before you go to trial. Being a 2-time felon, and the state only needing to prove that you threatened people using an electronic device. Which you did, and there is video evidence of you doing so. You will be found guilty. And again, as we all heard, you're a criminal, and you would be sentenced accordingly. Maybe some prison time will be good for you. You could spend some time with your son and other family members that are in prison. It would be like a family reunion. One big, happy family of fucking criminals. Lastly, there is one question. I'm sure I'm not the only one who asks this same question. Tyra, who the fuck has a license to carry a firearm, but claims one doesn't need a driver's license? How and why does one call himself True Freeman when the motherfucker has a gun permit? That is the epitome of a oxymoron. And that is what you are. A uneducated, lying, worthless moron.